So as you know, recently the NFL just dropped their top 100 players of the 2023 season, and today I'm going to be giving my reaction, in my opinion, to the list, and I'm just going to be going over the top 10 part of the list and giving off some stats for each players, what I agree with, what I disagree with, how I feel overall. Thanks for tuning in. So right off the bat, I just want to say Patrick Mahomes being number one is honestly a no-brainer. I don't think there's too much of an argument that you could put up against that. I mean, the guy passed for over 5,000 yards again, 41 touchdowns if I'm not mistaken, and then obviously you see he won his second Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is something special. I don't think that nobody can debate him being number one. It's a no-brainer. Number two, Justin Jefferson. Now, I believe that just based off of this past season specifically, Justin Jefferson was definitely the best receiver. I mean, 1,800 yards, 128 receptions, just to throw out some stats for you right there. You know, if you take off Justin Jefferson from the Vikings offense, I'm not sure how good the Vikings do this year. He was really the number one reason why they had a chance if you think about just their offense solely. Justin Jefferson can definitely be on his way to being a top 10 receiver all time. I know it's very early to say that, but just based off his performance so far and seeing what he's capable of, he definitely has potential to go down as one of the greatest receivers ever. Jalen Hurts at number three. Now, I'm going to say right off the rip, I am a Dallas Cowboys fan, but as a Cowboys fan, I respect the hell out of Jalen Hurts. 760 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns. And then you have to think about him throwing for over 2,000 yards and over 20 touchdowns as well. Now, I didn't know how I felt about Jalen Hurts being number three at first, but you take into consideration what he did for his first year as a full-time starter, and then you go into how he outperformed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and I don't think that's a crazy statement to make. You can definitely say that Jalen Hurts is number three. Nick Bosa at number four. Well, he was the undisputed, or not undisputed, but Nick Bosa was the defensive player of the year. 18 and a half sacks, 48 QB hits, second in tackles for loss, and easily the best player on the Niners defense, probably the leader for that whole team, arguably. Travis Kelce at number five. Well, there's already been conversation about Travis Kelce being the greatest tight end of all time. And yes, people are still having that discussion. And while I might not agree with that, for him to have 12 touchdowns this year, 1,300 yards, something that you don't see tight ends do all the time, Travis Kelce is easily the best tight end in the NFL today. And I can understand him being number five. Also, the same argument that I used with Justin Jefferson. If you take away Justin Jefferson from the Vikings offense, they don't really do anything. You take Travis Kelce away from the Chiefs offense, even though that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, an extraordinary talent, Travis Kelce played a huge role in the Chiefs' success this year and played a role in Patrick Mahomes' success, vice versa. So Travis Kelce at number five is not a bad pick. Joe Burrow at number six. I would say that Joe Burrow is the one quarterback without question who can give Patrick Mahomes a run for his money. I mean, you think about what he has done so far coming in the league. He's beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 straight times. So it's not a crazy statement to say that he is the only or one of the very few quarterbacks that are even in that discussion with Patrick Mahomes. Although we know Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Not too much to say about that. But Joe Burrow at number 6 is a good pick. Tyreek Hill at number 7. Now, I really wanted to put Tyreek Hill higher on this list just because of the impact that he had coming right into the Dolphins offense, the impact that he has had on Miami's offense, Miami's culture, that entire team as a whole is amazing. A lot of people will question, could he perform well without Patrick Mahomes? and he definitely proved that he could perform well regardless of who the quarterback is, not taking away anything from Patrick Mahomes or Tua. Tyreek Hill, you could also make an argument for him being the best receiver in the league, although going off of this past season, I think it's Justin Jefferson. I believe a lot of other people will say the same thing. But just in general, I would say Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in the league. If we're talking about the last 2-3 seasons, however you want to put it, in general, I would say Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in the league. And it only makes sense to have him in the top 10 as well. Josh Allen at number 8. A lot of people have said some stuff about Josh Allen and his interceptions, but Josh Allen is the undisputed leader of the Bills. He is easily a top 5, maybe even top 3 QB in the league. I kind of had mixed feelings about Josh Allen being in the top 10, but I understand how critical he is to the Bills' success. I'm going to get to how I felt about him being in the top 10 a little bit, but I'm not too mad about him being at number 8. Micah Parsons at number 9. A lot of people have been making comparisons between Micah Parsons and Lawrence Taylor. I don't see that right now. I see the freakish ability in Micah Parsons, and I see the potential of him being as good as Lawrence Taylor, but Lawrence Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, is the only defensive player to ever win Player of the Year or MVP, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but Micah Parsons being at number 9 is not crazy at all. I would have argued for him to be in the top 5 just because I believe he is the best player on the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, that includes their offense and their defense. I believe he is the best player on the Dallas Cowboys. His impact has instantly been felt, especially on that defense. I can't wait to see him go off again this year. I'm predicting that he'll be closer to that range of 20 sacks, maybe even 20 plus sacks. We'll see how that goes. But Micah Parsons at number 9, I enjoyed that. Chris Jones at number 10. Well, Chris Jones, I don't think is a crazy statement to say that he is the best interior defensive line under Aaron Donald. I think Aaron Donald has more impact career-wise than Chris Jones, but of course this is going off of this season, and Chris Jones has 15.5 sacks this previous season. So I think that's why you could say that he is the best interior defensive lineman, at least for right now, just based off of last season. Chris Jones, again, you take him away from the Chiefs defense, I don't know how good that defense really would have done without him. And then you think about the 2 sacks that he had in the playoffs that were huge to the Chiefs' success. So Chris Jones at number 10 was not a bad pick. But overall, that is my opinion on the NFL's top 100 players of the 2023 season. Of course, I just ranked the top 10 because I know that's probably what everybody's been paying attention to the most. Patrick Mahomes being number 1 on this list was a no-brainer for me. And everybody else that made the top 10, I think they are well deserving of that, regardless of how I may rank the top 10 or how you may rank the top 10 or whatever the case may be. I don't think there's too much of an argument to be made about who's in the top 10 because I think it was a pretty solid list overall. But I appreciate anybody who watched. Comment down below what your top 10 is, if you were given these players on the list, or just your top 10 players in NFL in general. Please leave a subscription and a like if you had liked this video. It helps us out. More content is on the way. Peace and love to everybody.